Hello, listeners. Hello. Welcome to In Reality. I am one of your proud hosts, Omar Torres.
Hello there, and I'm your other equally as proud host, Dominic Maldonado. Some would even call me a co-host. Some would call me sidekick, companion. I've even been referred to as a side bitch at point in times. No, I was joking. We're going to cut that one out. So
I don't know who would say those things to you.
Tyra Banks.
I wouldn't. Those people are probably not your friends. So just say no to those types of friends. Kids.
I was Oprah's side bitch for a point in time in my life. It was quite a prosperous moment. I'd like to see you be half as proud, Omar.
I wouldn't care. I'd be making so much money. I'd just be new cars every week. And yeah.
Speaking of new cars every week, if you had a train all to yourself, like a choo-choo locomotive train, what would you do with it?
I'd become rap legend Locomotion.
And go on tour in a fucking train. A mobile concert.
Yeah. I'd be like, yo, check me out. I'm Locomotion because the motion that I have makes people crazy. You see what I did there? Threw some Spanish in.
Oh.
Locomotion.
Oh, it's local, Holmes.
So, orale.
You know what I'd do if I had a train?
What's that?
I don't know. Maybe I would build a train track that wraps around the entire world. Mm-hmm. And then I'd have like a mile long, maybe even longer, big, heavy fucking, carts. And I would just power that motherfucking train for the all rest of eternity if I could. And have like a whole civilization live on my fucking train. What would you call that? What would you call that idea?
I would call it really hard to do. But I see where you're going with this. Mm-hmm. The movie that we're going to be talking about today, does that relate to your vision?
Maybe. What's the name of this movie?
Little movie called Snowpiercer.
Oh, you know what? I think I may have gotten this crazy ass idea. Wildly unstable.
Off of the movie.
Right off, straight out of the script here. And I don't know. Let's. Long story short, would such an event work out if I were to put together said idea?
I mean, the movie it worked out all right.
Yeah. I guess you
seem pretty happy.
A limited time or so, it does the damn trick, doesn't it?
Yeah. So why don't you go ahead and tell them what it's about?
Yeah.
What is Snowpiercer about?
Snowpiercer is about once upon a time. Not too far in the future, we go through a global ice age, and one seemingly Noah's Ark kind of brilliant, but publicly stupid seeming guy decides he's going to build a $1 billion fucking train track that wraps around the globe,
yes,
and keeps this very, very long train in motion perpetually, in case the world has some large disaster and we cannot survive any one particular place, but at least we can stay in motion to give ourselves, necessary power if we need to, and travel to around the world to a place that might be sustainable.
Yeah.
So, and seems like a good idea, sure, but there's limited space on this train. Fuck. Also, everybody who was not in the top 1% is gonna cram their ass together in the back of this here train, and that's where you're gonna stay for the rest of this trip.
Yeah. So the train is ruled by a gentleman, a intelligent mind named
Ed Harris.
Ed
Harris. I'm sorry. Yeah, you go ahead.
Ed Harris playing Wilford.
I say Wilford playing Ed Harris.
He
motherfucker is stone cold. I like him.
Yeah, playing a similar role to the Truman Show, in a way.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn. Talk about parallel realities.
Yeah.
Damn.
So, kind of playing a similar role in which he's the ultimate being, kind of in control of lives and influencing a whole lot of people. So we actually, as the audience, we follow Chris Evans, playing a character named Curtis, and essentially he is fed up. He's done with the system, and in Hunger Games fashion, he wants to get all of his people and himself out of this situation that they find themselves in. So it's a classism debate, very much like how we have in middle class, upper class, low class, homeless,
working class is the word for that. Yeah,
working class. Working class is all the three bottom ones.
Yeah, anything that's not in the fucking top is probably the working motherfucking class. Yeah. And basically, you have this character Curtis, who is Chris Evans, also known as Captain America, trying to save the whole motherfucking train against Ed Harris, who is Wilford, and
we don't meet him. Yeah, we don't.
Right, we don't know who the fuck it is, but only a stone cold motherfucker like Ed Harris would do some shit like this.
Yeah.
So, or maybe John Malkovich. I feel like John Malkovich probably would have been a good alternate for this. He
seems pretty good for the role.
You know what? But hey, there's really no spoilers there. If there is a sequel, which no spoilers there either. But maybe that's where John Malkovich will come. But. I really liked that in the film, we see this rebellion come about, right? Because they start passing these secret notes, right? And it's like, man, what's that all about, right? And because it just kind of hits like, hey, we need to find this thing, because they're looking in their food for these little metal capsules that have notes in them that come from further up the train, because. Well, they have phones, but they're not allowed to use them.
Yeah.
That communicate throughout the train, and you don't know what's happening 2 or 3 carts in front of you.
Yeah.
But they're getting these notes delivered to them that say these, ideas or these decisions. It's like move, attack, forward, rebel, right? And that's kind of what starts stirring the pot of like, all right, we need to do something. And because they've been trapped on this train for a very long fucking time, resources are limited.
Yeah.
And it's been like 17 years, and they have this wild idea that these guards that are actually keeping this shit in check, there's like this trained military, no pun intended, are they don't have any more bullets left. And that's like a big fucking turning point. What would you do, Omar? Can you think of any time in our reality where an episode of like, you know what? If they don't have any bullets, I'd go so fucking LeBron in the paint right now if they didn't have any bullets.
Well, not personally. I haven't experienced. I've experienced a lot of. Everyone has their moments of fed up with the system, and we see that a lot. You can definitely tell that happens in terms of rioting and all this stuff, especially recently. We've had all those
Black Lives Matter.
Yeah, those
also members of the working class
situations, and all that crazy stuff that happens.
Yeah, and, started with fucking Zimmerman, man.
It's
Snowpiercer starts with Zimmerman.
It was like
that's the fucking prequel.
George Bush does not care about
that is the prologue to the prequel. It's Kanye.
Yeah, it's like I feel like the Zimmerman thing was kind of like a second coming. Like all of a sudden, this happens. But I want to take this more to a state like it's the working class, like the people who aren't as privileged, who get this kind of lower end of the stick, and we see a lot of that with when people talk about the 1%. And stuff like that. It's like all of these people are working and doing things so that the rich can benefit. I'm not sure. I don't really remember. Do they in the back of the train do anything like beneficial to
serve the train? No, not that I'm aware of. They don't really make that clear at all. But there's actually several extremely important pieces that they do fulfill throughout the train's massive infrastructure.
Right.
They perhaps have the most important job. That's the only reason that they are there.
Right.
Because nobody else would want. Should I just go ahead and say it? Should I just drop it? All right. For those of you who do not want this shit spoiled, remember we
don't listen to the podcast.
Just mute this out.
Wait till after.
Right. So basically, the working class is put there because nobody else's children are going to be used as machinery parts in this massive train that is slowly coming apart. And remember, there's no more resources. They're stuck with what they have. Mm-hmm. So the sick mind that can only be Ed Harris's character, has devised that young children are the best size for being put.
They're the only size.
Being put into under the floorboards of the train to move some of its smaller parts.
Yeah. Forever
and ever.
Yeah. So
that's the only reason that they even have all these people. So why are they treating them like shit and just like feeding them? Ooh, we should talk about what the fuck they feed them.
Yeah.
Why are they doing this to them? Because they just every so often need small children, and they're damn sure not going to use the rest of the car's kids because they're all the fucking like rich upper class doing drugs on fucking New Year's. Just get, you know what I'm saying? It just makes you want to be trapped on the train with them. You know, right? They just make the shit look so motherfucking live.
So yeah, the one thing that you touched upon was that the guys on the train at first they need to eat. So what do they attempt to eat? But each other. They're hungry, so they gotta eat something. What are they gonna eat? So they attempt to eat each other, and I think they had some success, and they'd gotten to a point where they decided they didn't want to do that anymore, and then they start making roach blocks. Really disgusting.
Protein. They call it protein bars, protein blocks.
Protein blocks
is what they called them, and that basically is what they were eating, and it got bad because we didn't know what it was for the longest. We at all. And when you think about it, it's like, how fucking sick is that? To have that many roaches, you have to be breeding them.
Yeah.
Which means that somewhere they had a bunch of roaches, and we just kept them in a constant breeding state, and probably throwing all of their trash and excrement into this big breeding tank and breeding roaches and setting them all about the cabin in the back, because we see roaches a lot, but it's alluded to that it's a dirty, filthy place, but we don't know why. We always see them eating, and we see roaches, and you don't make the connection until Curtis is up there as they move from cart to cart, and it's do you feel like upper class does the same to us in some sort of way? Are they feeding us our own shit and roaches?
It's a very good statement on that type of stuff, because a lot of times, I'll say that when I go out with somebody who's a bit higher class than I am, we usually go to very nice restaurants and eat prime steak and, a lot of very expensive, well-cooked, clean food. And then when I'm at work, what do I have to do for lunch, which I get 30 minutes for, but go to a fast food restaurant or, try and hopefully cook some rice or something the night before and attempt to still try and eat healthy and be healthy while still trying to sustain myself. So I can definitely see parallels.
I would not say that's quite as parallel as eating a bunch of fucking roaches, but I'll give it to you.
It's an extreme that they use.
Okay. I mean, I've had cup noodles for very, very long periods of time. I even tried my hand in some ramen noodles, courtesy of Ramen Noodle Man. But I've even, had me a bit of Kool-Aid in my day. But, you do that shit as long as you need to. You fucking go to Subway and get the $5 footlongs. Like, you just like thinking of all these creative ways to stretch your dollar. But when it gets down to the point where you're eating blocks of roaches and that's all you've eaten your whole life, it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
But you got to remember that even on the train, they weren't middle class. They were basically
they were the homeless. Yeah. They kind of skipped that. So there is no middle class. Sort of like they kind of parallel the homeless to the middle class, but there is no middle class in this train. You're either